Good morning or noonday, everyone. Glad you're here joining me. Today we're going to make a quick, simple Valentine card. So this is the card we're going to be making, and it is this recipe for the card can be used for any occasion. Use your scraps, and you can come up with a fast, cute card. So let's get started, and I'll tell you all about it. The stamp set I'm using is Reasons to Celebrate. This is one of our new sets that's out, and it has all sorts of, holidays, birthday, congratulations, graduation, anniversary. So it's just an all-over, all-around good stamp set if you don't have one that has the holidays in it. Okay, here is our card supplies. We've got real red, which is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4.25. So I'm going to fold that and give it a little crease with my bone folder. Next, let's look at the card. You can see that there is a layer, and this is flamingo, flirty flamingo, and it's a great color to go with red. Who would have thought, huh? But anyway, we're going to take our adhesive, get it going, and I like to do it around the outside. Ooh, this one's, let me try this one. Okay, there we go. I like to do around the outside, and then it is 1/4 inch smaller. So this is 4 by 5.25, and I'm going to put that right there in the middle. Now I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Next thing we need to do is to cut our scraps. Now the scraps are 3/4 by 3.25. That's right. So 3/4 by 3.25, and you just need to arrange your scraps the way you liked it. The way I did on the card I showed you, this card, I put the red in the middle, and then on each side I had pink and gold on the ends. Now remember, this is two-sided, so if you don't like the way it's coming out, switch it around. This gives you 3 gold pieces in the middle. So I would normally do something like that to separate them. Okay, but let's get back to what we're doing today. Okay, we've got a gold, a pink, or flirty flamingo, real red, another flirty flamingo, and another gold. The way oh yeah, and I didn't tell you that I've got some adhesive on this. On the white part that we're going to be gluing on is 5 by 3.25. 3.75, excuse me. Okay, so each of these layers, this layer is a 1/4 inch round shorter than this one, and then the white is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the flirty flamingo, so that gives you the layers. Now, whenever I am doing, these got messed up. Whenever I am trying to center something, there are a number of ways you can do this. You can start on the ends or start in the middle. And what I'm going to do is start in the middle and then go to the ends and then do the two in the front. Now, you want to glue it towards the bottom so that you'll have room for your bling up here, okay? So I'm going to take my gold, and remember, you need to flip it over so that you'll get it the way you like it. Oops, I'm doing just the opposite of what I said. I'm going to start on the sides. Let me see if I can get a little light here. It is very dull gray outside today. We've got a front coming in. It's going to bring us a lot of cold weather, and I'm very excited. I love it. Okay, so we've got the two on the ends. Next, I'm going to eyeball the center. I mean, if you're real, OBS about this, you can measure it. But I'm just going to get them about the same at the bottom and about the same there. So let's see how that's looking. Okay, looks great. So now all you have to do is fill in. But it does make it a little bit easier instead of trying to do one after the other. It gives you a reference point for the how far you are. And that helps you line up things easier. Okay, so there is the base of our card. And it will be attached here. And I'm going to use dimensionals to do that. But before we do that, I want to stamp. We got two things to stamp. We need to stamp the Valentine Day, and I'm doing it in black. And then this little happy right up here. So let's start off with, let's see. We'll start off with the Valentine piece, word. And you want to ink it up real good. And I always check before I do my final, oh, that came out great, before I do my final stamping. So let's ink it up again. And I'm just tapping. Make sure it's all covered. And then you can center that. Let's see how I did. Hey, I love it when a plan comes together. Now we've got that, and then I've just got a little scrap right here because I'm going to do the word happy. Let me check it. Okay. And I'm going to do it, let's see, how do I want to do this? I think I'll do it this way. And I'll show you why I turned it around. We're going to be using the banner, triple banner punch for punching this out. If you don't have a good punch that makes banners, this is a really good one. They're about 1/2 inch, and I particularly like this one, but we're not going to use it today. I'm going to use the one up at the top. Okay, now I'm going to slide it in and get it straight. And I'm going to turn it around and do it this way because I wanted it to be, I wanted to have a short one. So see how I'm not going all the way to the end of the punch? I've shortened it a little bit. And when you're using your punch, let me say this because I've been seeing some of my customers having trouble with the punch. The easiest way to do it, of course, you're going to turn it upside down if you've got something stamped and you want to center it. And as you start to center it and get it where you want, start squeezing a little bit with your other hand. Okay, that's where I want it. Oops. Okay, you just have to squeeze it enough that it's not going to wiggle around. And then get your other hand and do it at the same time. Okay, that might make it a little easier. Okay, so we've got our happy, and it still didn't come out like I wanted, but we'll fix that. And I'm going to adhere the Valentine to a 1 inch by 3.5 inch piece of real red. And we're going to put that on in the middle of our card. And I'm going to use dimensionals for this too. I love popping things up. Okay. So I'm going to put one on each end and one in the middle. And I'm going to center it right in the middle of my strips. Now the little one, I am going to trim the end off. So now I have the length that I wanted. And I'm going to use mini dimensionals on this. They're a little bit smaller, so that, well, they're a good bit smaller so that you can stick it on. And listen, you see this is from a sheet of the mini dimensionals. Don't throw your frame away. Cut it up and use it on your projects. Doesn't matter what it looks like, it's going to be on the back. Okay, so I'm putting that down. I believe in using every piece available. Okay, and I'm going to put it, I think, right over here. Okay, next comes the fun part. I get to use my take your pick tool. If y'all do not have this tool, it saves on carrying around a bunch of stuff that a lot of times you don't need. The take your pick tool, you take this off and it has a little putty in this little round cylinder, and if it's dry or it's no longer sticking, just pull off a little bit and very easily turn that, because it's going to start coming out. And I don't know if you can see that well or not. Oop, there. But it's just starting to come out there. Now on the other end, you have a little spatula that you can use. You have a pointy tool. That's what everybody calls them. And then there's another attachment. And let's put it. And it's really cool. Did I take it out? Oh, here it is. Okay. The other piece that comes with this is a stylus. And it has a fat end and a skinny end. So that is often needed, especially for scoring and doing things like that. Okay, now we're ready for the bling. And here we go on, I'm going to get some of this out of the way. These are the ones I wanted to use. They're nice and fat and big. So I'm just going to push from the side and the putty will pick it up. And you know, you have to have a little bling at Valentine's Day. So I'm putting one right up over the other, right there. Okay, now we're almost finished. All you need to do, flip it over, take some of our dimensionals. I like to put one in each corner and one in the middle. Now you'll see all sorts of different arrangements of the dimensionals. Some people like to use a whole lot. Personally, I think that's wasteful, and I just use enough to tack it and hold it. And I don't think I've had any complaints from that. Okay, I wanted to make sure it was right side up and not upside down. And then you're just going to center that right there. Then on the inside, I didn't cut a piece of paper for this, but I would put a white piece of paper here, and you can add some hearts if you have a hearts, a set that has hearts in it, or whatever you want to do. But is that an easy card? Simple. Let's see, it didn't take us but about, I think, 15 minutes or a little more, and you got a cute, simple card that everybody's going to love. So remember, this is just a wonderful way to get rid of scraps that you have lying around. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I save most of my scraps that are usable size, and I just hate to throw them away. So, hey, I'm going to make some cards with this recipe. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today. Stay warm. I don't know if you're in the South or somewhere else. Of course, it looks like a lot of the country's cold, but we may get sleet, which makes me happy. So, I hope you are Stampin' Up a Storm, and you can find my other videos. I do have videos. I think they're still on Facebook. I may have moved them all, but you can definitely find them at YouTube. So look me up, Laura Lee Calais, and Lee is spelled L-E-A. It probably will come up with just Laura Lee. And my website is stampinatthebirdnest.com, and it's right there on your screen. So come see me next week, and Lord willing, and YouTube cooperates with me, I'll be back. Mwah. Love y'all. Thanks for watching.